Welcome, Jet fans, to the Jets Life podcast. Today is a historic day in the history of the New York Jets franchise, as the wait is finally over. After an offseason that included darkness retreats, trips to California that were being tracked, the Pat McAfee show, weeks and weeks and weeks of leverage talk and who has the leverage and who's going to trade for what, and just constant, you know, just waiting and waiting and waiting for when's it going to happen. And today, it finally became official as Aaron Rodgers is officially the quarterback for the New York Jets. It's just, you know, I know we've been talking about this for so long, and it just, you know, always seemed like it was going to happen, especially after the Pat McAfee show when he said he intends to play here. That it just always seemed like it was going to happen. And even as far as yesterday, the news came out that the Jets, or a couple days ago actually, the news came out that the Jets made the trade. And yesterday, Joe Douglas said we're just wrapping it up, and just it was even that was a couple of days of just dotting our i's, crossing our t's, and getting everything finalized. Even after all this time of just knowing it was going to happen and just having that faith it was going to happen, and all signs pointing in this direction that it was going to finally happen. Today, it finally felt real. Watching as Aaron Rodgers walked into the building, sporting the Black Jets hoodie, dapping and hugging it out. When those videos started coming out, that's when it finally started to feel real. Just you know, it just felt like that moment you've been waiting for, and almost like that first day of school. Just you know, all about the anticipation, but it's finally here, and just such a relief. And you can just sense the relief in that building. Just you know, everyone just rallying around him, and you know, just smiles all across the board, including in his face. I mean, you can just tell even from his perspective, it just seems like somebody who's so ready to move on and move past, what was a great career with the Green Bay Packers, and it sounds like he's super thrilled over all those years he's had. Definitely thankful for everything, and he even sent out a message to all the Packers fans. Everything fantastic, it just. But now it's our time, and everything was just going smooth, everything was happy, and everything just, you know, pure alleviation for this entire organization. But that was just the start of it. As the day progressed, as we all know, around 2 o'clock p.m., um, the Jets scheduled for a press conference to introduce their new starting quarterback. And I mean, all over the, you know, I feel like Rodgers did a fantastic job of just, you know, in his first introduction to the big bad New York media, you know, right off the bat, just doing everything he can possibly to, you know, whatever conversations were being had about him and, his willingness or whatever have you. I mean, because a lot of just negative talk was going on throughout this entire process, in this entire situation as as well as he could, for a guy that just wanted out of his home for the past 18 years. Um, and in that introduction, I mean, he started things off, as perfect as you can ask. And his very first question, um, or one of his first questions, he was asked, "Why did you pick the Jets?" And just right off the bat, "I'm here because I believe in this team." Being a Jet fan and everything that we have gone through, over the course of forever, but even dwindling that clock back to even just 3 years ago, um, we were a 2-14 team. We were a 2-14 team with more holes than you know any answers. I mean, we were awful, terrible, and to think 2 years later that the Jets would do enough to this roster to entice a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Fame quarterback, that we give you the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl, and for him to leave Green Bay, the place he played 18 years of his career, it it just it just speaks volumes to what Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and this entire staff has done to really just instill credibility in this team. I mean, we were missing everything before Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh got here. We were GM after GM after head coach, and it was just a revolving door of just it was putrid. And for Aaron Rodgers to come in here and say that he believes in this team and he believes in this coaching staff and he believes in Joe Douglas, there's more to the statement than just what you're seeing here. Um, I mean, he praised Joe Douglas. He praised the Johnsons. He praised even Nathaniel Hackett while he was there, and don't ever kind of forget about that move. I mean, the Jets really did everything possible to you know to make sure that this would happen. I mean, I'm not sure when the conversation started in the building. I assume as soon as the last week of the season started, they started getting the wheels in motion and brought in Nathaniel Hackett after a terrible, terrible year where he had mud on his face. That entire Denver situation was just a mess. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett, and that was really the start of where all of this started to really become a reality. Um, and like I said, it just unbelievable from my perspective to think that this team, after all these years of futility, that a future Hall of Fame quarterback would put his resume on the line and come here and say that this team gives them a good chance to win a Super Bowl. And I mean, that's again, can't praise it enough. Joe Douglas, I'm wearing a hat, but if I was, hats off to you guys. Fantastic job of convincing and doing everything possible to make Aaron Rodgers believe that this is his best opportunity um, at competing for a championship. Now, another thing, I think we all kind of understand that everything you've been hearing. We've heard a lot about Aaron Rodgers over the course of I mean, over the course of his career, but over the course of just these last few months. And the next big thing I took from this press conference, um, and something that really kind of shocked me, and I think most people. I mean, throughout this entire process, we were being told that Aaron Rodgers doesn't matter when the trade happens, from a Jets perspective, that is. Doesn't matter when the trade happens. If it happens before the draft, then you have to give up this year's capital. If it happens after the draft, does it really matter? He's not going to show up to minicamp. He's not going to show up to OTAs until they become mandatory. So does it really, really matter? Um, but Aaron Rodgers put a real, um, you know, kind of again like a no one knows what they're talking about type of spin on this thing because I mean, flat out, he was asked, I believe by was Josina Anderson, asking him when does he intend to start practicing. I believe the Jets have like all voluntary training camp, mini camp, up until like the last week of May or something like that. But Aaron Rodgers was, not shy about it at all, and jokingly, after being asked the question, "Does tomorrow count?" I mean, for so many reasons, this is huge. Again, we didn't think he was. I mean, I'm not gonna say he wasn't gonna come in here and be committed, but if you want to really gauge his level of commitment to show up to voluntary workouts the the day after the trade finally becomes official, just speaks volumes to what this season and what however many seasons that he's here is going to mean. He's coming in day one on the job, and obviously he has an introduction today, but day two, I guess he'll be here tomorrow and he'll be practicing and getting acclimated with Garrett Wilson, getting acclimated or reacclimated Alan Lazard, Nicole Harbin. I mean, I'm not sure exactly who is at the Jets facility, but starting to build that chemistry now because, I mean, I know that these are April and May practices, and who cares once September rolls around, but, the more time that these guys get to learn what Aaron Rodgers wants and what he expects and, you know, it's only gonna be better for this team, as we progress and as this team continues to develop. Yeah, can't just I mean, just a complete shock in my eyes that he's showing up to the voluntary workouts, but, I mean, again, I mean, nothing about Aaron Rodgers should shock us at this point because I think this offseason alone really kind of showed us all that anything is possible with this guy, and again, just stoked, completely, you know, again, it was like kid in recess, just so excited from the moment that this day started that this is our guy, and he's coming in here committed, ready to go, and could it be for 1 year? Um, or later on in the day during his this wasn't during his, like, actual press conference, I believe it was, like, after they broke off for one-on-ones, he was he was asked this question during the press conference too, and he kind of gave the, I'm gonna focus on this year kind of answer. Didn't really kinda give that full response that, we would have liked. Obviously, we're probably hoping for him to say, "Oh, I'm gonna be here for 3 years," or whatever the case may be, but later on in the day, when circled by a bunch of interviewers, gave this statement of, "This isn't a one and done in my mind. This is a commitment." And, I mean, again, just saying all the right things is just that's what this is. It's Aaron Rodgers saying exactly what all of us Jet fans wanted to hear. This isn't a one-year deal. It's a commitment, a commitment, commitment to, in his words, giving that Super Bowl trophy, Super Bowl 3 trophy, a friend, because it looks lonely. Walking down that hallway, seeing that Super Bowl 3 trophy, walking by franchise, you know, just it's incredible. It really is, and I think every single Jet fan, I mean, I know that there's people out there who think, "We gave up too much. You know, what are we doing? Um, develop a rookie or, whatever have you," but this was the only answer, and it was it's just astounding, just amazing, and so many words you can use to explain what this is. This is a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the sport, coming here and choosing to come here over all the other options. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there probably weren't many other teams that were willing to take on his contract, but I also when you look at what he did with his contract, for us, dropping that salary cap number down to, like, I think he's under 2,000,000 on the cap this year. This is a full-on commitment. This guy's here because he wants to win. He's here to win a championship. He's here to give us the best shot. And I mean, since I've been watching this team, I don't know that we can really ever say that there's been a situation as clear as this one is with a Hall of Fame quarterback, a offense with young talent at all levels, offensive line, wide receivers, running backs, and a defense that was top 5 in the league last year with a Hall of Fame quarterback coming off a down year in which he threw for 3,700 yards and 26 touchdowns. In the history of this franchise, only 2 quarterbacks have ever thrown touchdowns. The great Joe Namath and Ryan Fitzpatrick in a 1 year with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker just week in and week out balling at the wide receiver positions. That's it. 2 seasons. 2 seasons in the history of this franchise that we have put together quarterback play that is equivalent to what we are calling a down year for Aaron Rodgers. A year in which he was injured. A year in which the Packers took away his number 1 target and replaced him with 2 rookies. A down year. And he's coming to the Jets with his buddy Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, who can't argue. I mean, the number 1 rookie, um, number 1 rookie wide receiver last year with no quarterback throwing him the ball. Imagine what's gonna happen to him now that he has a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him. McCole Hardman, who, you know, McCole Hardman had Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, so it's not like he's so much of a Garrett Wilson outlier with no quarterback play, so but just Corey Davis, another guy historically throughout his career, no quarterback play, and he's getting Aaron Rodgers, and Corey Davis put together 1,000-yard seasons, assuming he's still here. But again, just Jet fans, we got to be so pumped about this. This is what we've envisioned. This year is going to be so much damn fun, and I am all here for it. Um, just amazing. Uh, just that's all I got to say about it. Just all positive vibes, and that's what this team is going to be all about this year. Positive vibes, one day at a time, and got the draft coming up tomorrow. Still room to improve this team. Plenty of room to improve it, and just so pumped. So that concludes my video. If you haven't already, please take time to please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're feeling about this team. Let me know what you're feeling about Rodgers. Let me know how you're feeling about the direction that we're going in. Um, you know, Positive or negative, I'm here for it, but can't see how there be much negative right now. This is a historic day for this team, a moment we've been waiting for so long. Is just an opportunity, a chance, a window, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, whatever, a window of time where we have a shot at ending this playoff drought, Super Bowl drought, whatever you want to end, just end it. Let's end it this year. Thank you for joining. Look forward to sending out more videos, and let's go Jets.